Great to be on here. Sorry, I was 5 minutes late there. I lost track of time this morning.
I know.
I had a little study group this morning.
There's a very, very busy time for you, I know. And so, like I said, we do appreciate the time. Governor, I do want to talk about the aftermath of Hurricane Matthew, but the one thing I did want to ask you about real quick was a report last night, the announcement that the North Carolina GOP is filing a grievance with the state bar after the accusations or comments made by your opponent in the governor's race, Attorney General Roy Cooper, about you being under an investigation by the FBI, which you, of course, completely dismissed during the debate. And I just kind of wanted to get your, your take on the announcement that came out yesterday.
I have not read about the complaint, but the Attorney General was reckless as the chief law enforcement officer of the state. But he was also desperate in the debate because in the debate we were kind of running circles around him on the issues and where he took stands and where there was hypocrisy in his stances. And then all of a sudden he threw a Hail Mary and made the accusation that I was under criminal investigation by the FBI. And I, of course, said he ought to resign because it was totally false. And he said, no, it wasn't. And it was obviously a Hail Mary pass trying to help him recover his campaign. But it was a Hail Mary pass at the expense of truth and at the expense of my integrity. And for a lawyer to do that, who's the Attorney General of North Carolina, is uncalled for.
And like I said, just to remind everyone, the U.S. Attorney did come out after the debate and say that any FBI involvement ended back in February. So, I mean, any arguments, this thing is far away from, it was over a long time ago.
Call of being an investigation.
Yeah, I know.
When they get a complaint, they have to review it. And what happens, all these liberal groups make a complaint, and then they have to review, and of course they get the headline, McCrory under investigation, but as soon as I spent a little time with him in a room talking to him, and they went, okay. I mean, it wasn't a fun experience because you're afraid. You're going, this is ridiculous. But and this was over 7 or 8 months ago. And before the Attorney General runs his mouth on live TV, it seems like the Attorney General should get the facts. And sadly, he's done this to others who he's run against too, just speared their reputation. And he tried to spear mine in the last 2 weeks of the campaign. The media hadn't made much hay of him falsely making this accusation. I wonder if he does this to everybody, just the average citizens, and make false accusation on live TV. Pretty reckless for a lawyer to do.
I would agree. Definitely very troubling. And before I let you go, Governor, I obviously did want to ask you about Hurricane Matthew, because here in southeastern North Carolina, certain counties of ours were hit pretty hard, still recovering from the aftermath of Hurricane Matthew. And so I just kind of wanted to give you the opportunity to talk about what the state's going to be doing moving forward with the aftermath, just with regards to money, and I know our school system is looking at making some changes. So I just wanted to give you the opportunity to kind of address that.
Well, I've made a waiver to the school system. I've asked that no school system set new dates for makeup days, because in January we hope to change the concept of makeup days in those areas impacted. It'd be ridiculous to try to make up all the days, especially for areas like Fair Bluff or areas like Lumberton. I mean, there's no way they're going to make up those school days. So that's the first thing we've done. We've also done some waivers for food stamps and for unemployment, and even paying taxes to help those people impacted by the flood. And my first goal is to get people out of shelters at this point in time and into permanent housing. We hope to get word today on whether or not we can get the federal government through FEMA to get some mobile homes made in North Carolina to help these people immediately. And then we need long-term plans and how we're going to pay back the
federal government.
No, not pay back, but I'm sorry, rebuild some of these towns.
Oh, okay.
Do you rebuild them exactly where they are? Do you put them on stilts? Do how do you do it? Because we don't want this repeated again and again and again.
No, I agree 100%. And once again, we're talking with Governor Pat McCrory about the aftermath of Hurricane Matthew. Well, one thing I did want to ask you about that you mentioned after the storm was the possible rating change to hurricanes, and I don't know if there's been any discussion about that. I thought that was
I'm going to talk to the feds about this. The rating system for hurricanes is dangerous because when Hurricane Matthew went from a 4 to a 1 after going over Florida, and then a 1 when it got to North Carolina, it gives the impression that the hurricane is no longer dangerous, and people let their guard down. In fact, the headlines of New York Times and AP is hurricane downgraded, no more danger. Well, water is not included in that hurricane rating, and as we see, water killed 27 people in our state. And they've got to start including the amount of water that a hurricane can generate when coming through a Pacific area. That those are the repercussions. So we've got to get that changed because I think that hurricane rating gives a false sense of security.
No, I agree 100%. And when you'd mentioned that, I actually was reading something the other day. I think some national publications are actually starting to ask those questions about, especially with Hurricane Matthew, the aftermath, that it was sort of downgraded, as you mentioned, and people did get sort of a false sense of security, and it did turn out to be quite devastating.
In certain areas. Well, it's only a 1. I've survived 1s before because they're only thinking wind.
Yeah.
But sadly, rain killed a lot of people. Of the 27 people killed, I think 24 drowned in their cars.
Wow.
Just tragic.
No,
Just tragic.
It is. And yeah, I mean, I do think that is a very interesting idea, and I do hope that it does move forward. Governor, I appreciate you taking the time. Like I said, I know you're on the move here this morning.
Thanks.
So
y'all still need to help people like in Whiteville, people in Fair Bluff need your help. Small business people whose places were flooded. Fair Bluff, the whole town was underwater. The whole town, all the houses. Help those people. They need it now. Any way you can.
I agree. Governor, appreciate you taking the time, and we'll talk to you again very soon.
God bless you. Take care now. Thank you.